Hey guys, welcome to Not a Game Podcast. This is Gary here. I hope you guys are fine. I hope you guys are alright. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my podcast. How have you guys been? How have you guys been? I hope you guys are alright. I hope you guys are fine. Alright, I hope you guys had a good week. For those who are not having a good week, things will get better. Alright, things. I don't know. I had an okay week, but for the whole month itself, it spread out sporadically. This is what I realized. I had a pretty bad month. I had a month that things doesn't work out that well, but I had good moments in there, right? Like I've lost my wallet and I found it back. I intend to change my microphones, but my microphones just went on the suicide. Like went on tumbling down. I wish the microphones that I have right now are still usable. I wish that the mics wouldn't drop in the first place. Right? That's what I want. That's what I hope it became, right? But it didn't. So I wish that things would get better. I don't want my microphones to get damaged. I don't want my just want things to be better. When it comes to this, I don't mind bad stuff to happen. I just hope that you won't be that bad. I don't know whether this is the right way to view things. Right? I don't know whether this is like a positive way to look at things. Right? I don't know what is it to be a positive way to look at things anymore. Right? There's a lot of definition in my life got blurred. Like I don't know what is it to view in a positive way anymore. Should I acknowledge the bad things are in a better light, and call it a positive way of looking at it, or do I have to just ignore all the bad things that happen and just look on the positive light and say, hey, it could have been worse. What is it like to look at a positive light? I'm not sure whether the correct way, but a healthy way to look at positive things. Sometimes when I was talking to a few other comics, I was saying, I don't know what was considered dark comedy anymore, right? Because there's a different variations of dark like that. I'm not sure whether to just how do you talk about taboo subjects is considered dark anymore? Because everyone is talking about taboo subjects. Everyone is talking about, oh, look at me, I can do a dead baby joke. Hey, look at me, I can do an abortion joke. But the contents inside, it's really terrifying. I'm not. I try to talk about fear on stage. That's what's scary. That's what's scary. The fear of not knowing what to do with your life. I don't know. I'm trying to talk about it on stage, right? And I think that isn't what everyone wants to talk about. Those are things that I fear about. Those are the things that I want to talk about on stage. All right. I'm not sure, and nobody talks about them. I'm not sure whether that has become dark. Right? The fear of your future, the fear of not doing well in your life, the fear of wasting your life away, not knowing what to do with yourself, not knowing what to do. What's next? People talk about hustling, right? Like how would you hustle? How would you go to the next step? What is the best way to hustle? Right? Working hard. How? Like current right now, that's the situation what I am right now. Right? I'm not sure that I'm working hard at the right way. I'm not sure whether I want to work hard. I really do. Right? If that's something I'm passionate about, I really do want to know how to work hard. I do really want to know in what direction should I go to. All right. I've tried open mics. I've tried creating my own show. I've tried going to other countries and do other shows as well. All right. And it really scares me. Like I've done open spots, and I don't know whether that's hardworking. I'm not sure whether that's the correct way to do this, right? And I think that's those topics that people don't want to talk about. I'm not sure whether is it taboo. Is it a comedy that has no release? I don't know, man. I wish things could be better. Like definitions can become clearer. You get what I mean? I'm not sure what do I mean by positive outlook in life. I'm not sure it's negative outlook in life. I've given up trying to finding definitions of things like that anymore. I'm not sure what do I mean by clean comedy anymore. I'm not sure whether I'm working hard anymore. I'm not sure if things have a definition anymore. I'm not sure. I think I should find definition. I hope dictionary can be like good use right now. However, it doesn't work out that way. It doesn't seem that way. Sometimes dictionary give you the most vague definition, right? It's a definition. It's a general definition. But what does it really mean? What does it really mean to be just positive outlook or negative outlook in life? Is it wrong to have negative outlook in life? Is it wrong to have a negative view on things in life? Is it wrong to be a pessimist? Is it wrong to be uh not optimistic in life? Like, are we trying to ignore the bad things in life in order to make it positive, or do we acknowledge the bad things in life? And while saying things might be worse, these are the good things that happen. Or do we just go, things might happen, things worse things can happen? Kind of outlook in life. I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure about what's the definition of positive or optimism in life, right? I'm not really sure about that. I wish we could have a definition for that, so that it's easier, I guess. It's easier to deal with meanings. It's easier to walk through life, but it's not that way. And it's very scary to go through life sometimes. But yeah, uh, but we have to go through it, right? I'm not saying that dying is it's a good way. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I should have a. I don't know, because I was reading the article on. I found out that Chris Cornell died as well. So it's a suicide. I didn't read much into it. I'm a fan, but not a very big fan of Chris Cornell. Okay, I like Soundgarden. I like Audio Slave. All right, because I would say that I'm a fan because I got their albums. I listened to a few of their interviews. All right, if they come down to Singapore, I may buy the tickets, unless it's too expensive. All right, I may get like a bag, like tier 3 tickets instead of the top tier near the stage tickets. Is that a good reference of mine? Right? Is that a good reference stage, like what kind of a fan I am? Right? I may get their albums, but I won't get a complete entire, like I won't get a I'm not that hardcore to get like their posters, their concert posters. I'm not that hardcore to get their T-shirts, unless it's bootleg T-shirts. Then that's the another story, right? If it's cheap, I wouldn't mind getting it. I wouldn't mind getting bootleg T-shirts. If it's a concert, I wouldn't get like the first few, like the most expensive tickets. I would get tickets if I can afford to, and if it's cheap tickets, right? That's what I think, right? That's what I think that having a definition is easier to deal with life. It's easier to do everything, right? I think that's why in every debate you see, like, everyone is trying to define what the subject is. It's easier to handle. It's easier to talk about, right? It's cause less vague. There's not much ambiguity that's on, right? There's rules, there's definitions, right? That we want to achieve, that we feel, right, this is what I want to be. This is how I want to be, right? Today we have Brian Tan from Malaysia Communist, and I've talked to him. I would like to first tell you that this is a podcast that I have recorded like a few months ago, last year, I think. Last year, if not early this year. Where and there's a few references that have dated quite some time ago. We talk about the blackface situation in Singapore. I don't agree on blackface, right? I don't think that we should have blackface. The reason is because the baggage that it carried through, right? The baggage of having the blackface. The reason why people are having blackface, it's scary. It's horrifying. Yeah. So that's scary. That's I'm not sure. I'm not sure about at what point in time where we think that blackface is okay, right? It's the and look, I'm okay. I'm okay with free speech. I'm all for free speech. People who know me very well knows that I'm good for free speech, right? But that at one point in time, where that things that you want to talk about, there are things that you need to tackle about, right? We can make fun of blackface, right? We can make fun of how stupid the blackface is, how stupid blackface is, how racist it is, how dividing it makes us to be, and and while it's I think it's wrong to have blackface on TV just to so that you can play an race. It's wrong. You didn't. There's no context behind that. There's no nothing behind it, which is really scares the shit out of me. Sometimes when you look at things without context, it scares people. All right, I'm okay for a rape joke. I'm okay for an abortion joke. Right, I'm good with anything. If it's a good joke, it's a good joke. Right, I don't do certain jokes. I don't do rape jokes because I can't do it. All right, I can't make it funny. But there are times when you look at open micers, when you look at fresh new people who wants to do edgy stuff, and does really edgy stuff, such as dead baby jokes, rape jokes. It scares the shit out of me because the context behind it. All right, the context. Like I have a few friends who does it very well because they're fully aware. They are very sensitive to this kinds of issue. Who does jokes about that, and they respect, and people respect. They respect the jokes itself. Well, I'm not trying to set the line on what topics that we should do, what topics we should not do. But in this episode, me and Brian will talk about that a lot. We talk about the idea of dark jokes. We talk about taboo jokes. We talk about jokes that really scares that has very that brings a very deep emotional response. Right? I do very dark jokes. I do jokes about death. I do jokes about fear. I try to talk about my fears. Try to talk about not knowing what to do. So like I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I'm doing it right. I'm not sure whether but it's just two people talking, right? Brian is one of the funniest guy that I've seen live. He's one of the funniest guy that I've ever seen doing stand up. Right? I really love his style. He's clean, but it's weird. It's silly. We talk about the difference in Malaysian scene and Singapore scene, right? And we talk about the difference in stylings of the different kind of comedians, right? We talk about how Malaysian scenes generally it's a little bit silly, it's a bit awkward, it's a bit weird, right? Well, what on Singapore scene there's still a little bit of different kind of weirdness going on there. The topics that we all do are different, right? The styling is a little bit more serious, right? But and how different it is because our culture is so similar. And when I hear that, hey, I couldn't get angry, right? When people say Singapore, Malaysia is the same place, but we aren't. We have difference when it comes to like very very minute differences. It's like calling Ireland part of the UK. It's antagonizing. It's cringy when you hear that. Kind of understand why, because Malaysia and Singapore, we have similar cultures, right? We to be honest, we have very similar culture. We came from a Commonwealth country. We were once under British rule, like many others. Then Malaya got independence, and Singapore, Malaysia, and Sabah and Sarawak and Brunei decided to come together, but Brunei got off before the formation is done, right? And there's a lot of similar history behind, right? We go through Japanese occupations as well. We go through the British colonization as well. All right, we are so similar. Even before the British colonization, we have the Sultan is here as well. We are under the Malaya rule once a very long time ago before it was called Malaya, right? So I think we are culturally similar. We are historically speaking, we come from the same place, right? So we talk about the difference between when it comes to culture, when it comes to comedy wise, right? And we talk about being able to deal with dark comedy. We are able to deal with yeah, we were, how dark can we go? Like, what can we do, right? In recently we had this, we had this TV show where, it's a panel comedy show, and the ones who are in there got uh got into a little bit of trouble with Malaysia because that there is one segment that was being made fun of, and now it don't, and now it's okay now, it's all right now, I guess. But it was, but it raised a lot of big issues. Last year there's this case where Fakafas, right, had problems with the Malaysian government because he made fun of the prime minister of Malaysia, which is really really weird because it's jokes after all, right? But at what point that we have to sit down and go, look, this is not all right, this is not okay, is this joke okay? Do we have to do that? But at the same time, if we don't do that, what about people who get? Do we really have to not care about everyone's feeling? Can make fun of it? Then if that's the case, why did a school bully couldn't have a go then? Why couldn't the school bully just make fun of the school nerds and get away with it? You get what I mean? Like, at one point we talk about more. Where's the line that we should not cross? Where's the line and go, oh shit, that's the point that maybe I as a performer, or I as a person who got the mic on stage, do not want to say that because it's against my moral values. It's my belief system, right? So we talk about that. Me and Brian, we talk about that. Brian, it's like I said, he's a cool guy. He enjoy the conversation between Brian Tan and I, and Not Again podcast. All right, enjoy. I guess I don't know. It should be alright. I can see things here. Isn't that the point of recording?
Okay.
But yeah, just want to talk about stuff. We talk about
Sure.
I just want to know the idea. Okay. Talk about really forgetting retiring the cow onesie. I love the cow onesie.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
and I've watched it like online.
Yes, I posted it online. So well, I always have this idea like Ralphie May.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember watching one of his stand-up workshops, and then he said he didn't want to be known as the fat comedian, don't want to be stereotyped as the fat comedian, so he decided to ditch all his fat jokes and just talked about life. So I always have that in my mind that if I went on and on about doing the cow bit too much, people would just associate me with being the cow one-liner dude. And I thought, and furthermore, doing it more than a novelty, which is what it is lah. I'll be frank, like, it's just a novelty act. Doing it more than what is basically a novelty act kind of like ruins the novelty of it anyway. So I decided early on to only do it at each show, like once for each show. So I premiered it at a show where it was me and three other stand-up acts, and we took turns headlining. It was over three nights, and we took turns headlining each show. So when it came time for me to headline on the last night, I decided to just surprise everybody. And my brother, it was my younger brother's onesie, which was a birthday present for him by his friends. And it was just lying there in his room anyway. It wasn't being used, so I decided, like, okay, let's make use of this. I put it on, and it looked bad, so I knew it was going to be that anyway. I just wrote a few really terrible, cow jokes. I opened with, like, I have three loves in my life, like music, movies, and masturbation. Shit like that, lah, you know. And to my surprise, it worked because the audience saw how stupid it was. You know, I wasn't taking myself seriously at all. Very deadpan, and they enjoyed it. And so I thought I'll take the act in all the other shows. So the next show I did it was in, I think, Time Out KL. I think Time Out KL Comedy Thursday, which unfortunately no longer runs a show. And then One Mic Stand, Cow Comedy, which is ironic because cow. That was my opening joke. Yeah. Time Out, what else? Crack House, Live House. So almost everywhere I've done it once. And a few weeks ago at One Mic Stand, it was World Animal Day, and I thought, you know, it had to come back. When I felt that it was a bit just like it felt wasn't like lost a bit of the spark, the funness of it. And I thought, okay, probably the last time I'll bring this out because, you know, I didn't have it in me anymore to put it on.
So you kind of grew out.
Kind of, yeah.
That's sad.
I know. Maybe you never know, like if you know, if I ever come back to Singapore, never know. Yeah, it might make a special appearance just for Singaporean audience. Yeah, never say never, but for now it's become furniture.
But it feels like it's an act that you never get tired of it. It's like, because I've wanted to watch that act for quite. I haven't watched it before.
Okay.
But when Sam told me that you have this act, I was like, fuck, I got to watch that act. Like,
it sounds definitely. No, I'll give it to you. It sounds like something you would want to watch. Yeah, definitely, because it's so out there. It's different. It's kind of like. Like I'm sure you guys know Hanan as well. She comes in with a ukulele, fantastic comic, and she just recently won the Hong Kong competition. Congrats! So you just think, Malay girl with a ukulele singing about like sex and stuff like that. You won't want to watch something like that. So I totally get it. But for me, just I like you said, I just outgrown the thing because it was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a long time, but it's only made appearance like I would say at least 6 times. It's just not even 10, definitely.
But it's just when I watched the video, like
okay, yeah.
It's very silly. It's not like a act like try to bring our message across.
No, nothing like that.
It's just dumb, fucking silly.
Yeah. It's not like it's not like be vegan. There's nothing like that at all. Yeah, I wanna make fun of it. Like I wanna as a cow I wanna study hard, go to Japan, study hard, and become Wagyu beef. It's stupid, modern baseline shit like that. There's no message. Honestly, I just the only thing was just to make people laugh. That was it. Yeah.
I don't know. But when you don't wear the cow onesie, I don't think the joke will work though.
No. Yeah, the onesie really adds to it. It's because we have this what's that word for it? We have this like the initial impression we get on somebody is so instant, especially when you do stand up. Anyway, people judge you based on what they see first before you even say a word. So if you can match that expectation with your jokes, I think the connection is made, you know, and the jokes flow easier. So when they saw, you know, a Chinese guy in a cow onesie, you know, just doing cow jokes, and it's like, of course, the brains just, they just think, of course lah. Yeah, what do I expect?
There's initial engagement,
yes.
like just
yes, yeah. So that's one thing I learned about in for stand up, that your looks, even though it shouldn't really matter that much because it's all down to your jokes anyway. But how you look on stage kind of matters a bit, yeah, in a way. Especially in the first minute or two, but once the crowd knows what you're about, and then you can lead them that way instead of your looks.
I think it's also some people dress so they can defy a certain sense of it's you can't lose the engagement and try to win back with that engagement. But there are some most of us just go out, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do, right? And,
Yep.
and you can see, right?
Yep.
You can see that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but when I see a count one, just like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
I know. It's just so. It's like putting on a costume, right? You see somebody in costume. Initially, you don't think like that's a normal looking person, right? That's a sane guy, right? Initially, you think something different about that person, and in the world of stand up, that helps a lot because you want to stand out anyway, from the rest of the comics, and so. To be honest, this is the most I've ever thought about the cow onesie, the cow act. So
I'm like, the guy make an effort, alright? let's give him some more time to make a big impression.
no,
Alright?
that's true. We have a lot of, not a lot, but a few novelty acts like that. So like I mentioned earlier, Hanan with her ukulele. Aaron brings her guitar on stage. Aaron Au brings her guitar on stage. Prakash sometimes does has a guitar bit as well. Music. Recently, so we have a new guy, Nat Kang. He brought a trombone, a plastic one on stage, and he made almost like a prop comic like that. But and it's very very silly as well. He'll go. He's like the Dimitri Martin style, where after every one-liner he'll play like a rhythm, a spot one-liner. So that's what Nat did. So
So it's pretty much like the old school, like
yes. The badum tish, just like instead of badum tish, you go like wah wah, and then it's next joke. But I think because the audience sees the effort, so they'll give a bit of leeway to the act. Anyway, it's like, okay, it's something fresh, it's something different. Let's listen. Let's give this guy or girl a chance. And more often than not, it works.
But it feels like the Malaysian acts are willing to go to the extra mile.
I will put that down to the scene being very new. So there's no rules, there's no guidelines. So we always just tell acts that just make the audience laugh. That's all. Whatever you do, just make them laugh. So they come in with what they already know. So like I said, Nat is naturally a musician. He plays a number of instruments, so he thought the trombone would be the funniest one. And Hanan, prior to doing stand-up, she was in theatre, plays, very very musically gifted person as well. And the ukulele just looks funny lah.
It's like that. No, okay. This is what I feel about ukulele. Where anyone, just anyone, with the holds a ukulele, just funny looking, just like
yes.
Can't you just buy a bigger item? Guitar is way much more popular than ukulele.
That's true.
Yeah.
We have one of the Malay acts from the Malay scene, Malay stand-up comedy scene. We call him Bob. And he also wields a ukulele. Actually, Malaysian. There's another act as well, JD, that from the Malay scene, that also has a ukulele set.
Why is everyone using a ukulele?
I don't know. I think there was a big warehouse sale, and everybody just bought like a ukulele. I missed out on it. I bought a cow onesie instead.
So, hey guys, we are going to comedy, so let's buy a ukulele, right?
Yeah. Now, wow. Even then, now that I think about it, the 3 acts that that's a ukulele set.
This is the holy trinity of ukulele comedy. They're out there. The holy trinity of ukulele comedy. So who's the Lenny Bruce?
I don't know. We'll see.
But it feels like because compared to Singapore scene versus Malaysia scene, right? It feels like the Malaysia scene also, it goes very silly. You guys are willing to go very silly.
I would agree. Yeah, because is it down to the little differences? Like I would say the local scene, it's very local, and the crowds we get, there'll be a few expats and foreigners coming to the shows, but it's very local. So our jokes, we have to pander to the local crowd, which is still new to the whole idea of stand-up anyway. So we're doing it very silly. And if you notice, you've been down there before, you notice that the acts there tend to do more one-liners, and very jokey joke. just tell set up, punch, and then very quick and all that. And because I think that's what the audience wants, and they've been getting a lot of laughs from that. So it's starting there. But the acts that I've seen started doing that that's now doing into their first year, second year, third year. They're slowly moving away from that, talking about themselves and all that. So there's a natural evolution going on. You start with writing jokes, you know, and then after that you add a bit of ideas and emotions into the bits. You want to talk about real stuff, and then you slowly evolve out of that. But in the start, I would say silliness reigns supreme back home in Malaysia.
Because what we have here in the local scene, when you look at it, most of the time it's slightly more serious.
Okay.
Even the silly ones, you look at Jackie, right?
Yeah.
No matter how silly it is, there's an element of seriousness inside. Like his bit about dolphins.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil his bit here,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah,
but you have at the end of the punchline, it is something really serious.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sounds silly. And look at him, it's a silly person.
Yeah.
and
Even
he's-
without his costume.
Yeah, he's a silly person, right? So
Yeah.
and my act is also very, very serious. You look at Sam. Sam is a
Yeah.
very political, very serious guy.
Yep.
You look at what are the comedians that you have watched?
The
Fast is
the big ones are Fast, Rishi, Sharul. Yep.
are kind of serious. They try to bring in like a race card across. James also brings like
Yes,
the
especially
political
James.
race.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether it's because of a pioneer generation.
You could say that. You could say that because our godfather is Harif, and you can see it's very silly kind of goofy kind of comedian.
But there's still elements of seriousness inside.
Oh yeah. He closes up with the whole like Malaysia is getting is turning upside down, and you should band together and become truly united and all that. He closes with that, which is ends on a nice sweet note. But the journey to get there, it's very, very silly because he comes from a theatre background. He comes from an acting background. He's very dramatic on stage, very, very playful, and it shows in his jokes are very, very what do you call it, physical kind of performer. And we look everybody back home looks up to him, and to see whether he influenced like this whole generation of silly comics back home. I'm not sure where it comes from. You could blame like the government. I guess that's one thing, is how, because like if it's so bad back home, we just need an outlet to vent all this. So what better way than just to be silly and not care about like because I think Malaysians don't take themselves too serious anyway. It's very, very relaxed back home. It's very other people might call it laziness. We call it relaxedness. You know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
And so and I to be honest, I also kind of started out that way. I started out as a one-liner comedian, and I always tell like just like really, really stupid, silly jokes, self-deprecating most of the time, and it continues to this day. That's why most of the comics I like right now are also silly and goofy, dumb, physical kind of comics. I think this might be. I'm just doing it for 4 years. I'm still not sure what my real voice is. So maybe I'm like exploring this side of me, and hopefully I'll find it in the next 10 years or something.
I feel that sometimes it's because it's, I don't know, when I look at your set, when I look at the initial impression was like you are the weird guy. You're the weird but silly guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Awkward,
you're
weird.
awkward,
Yeah.
So like okay, that's your. That's what I think who you really are. Like the weird, silly, sometimes one-liner kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel that it seems like I don't know. That's what I feel about Malaysian comics, where they're willing to go silly. They're going to go weird.
Okay.
It's like I want to watch stand up, and my only idea of stand up is like, oh, the guy going out on stage and tell jokes. But you guys are willing to go physical. I'm like, okay, so that's interesting. Because when I watch Open Crack, it's like there are people who are willing to go silly.
Oh yes.
There are people who,
Yes.
and you can hardly see any people talk about politics. You can hardly see any people talking about, and even it's politics, it's very silly way of presenting.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like the only guy whom I see that takes it seriously on stage or close to seriously on stage, is Kieran and Kevin, because you can see them. Yes, there's something I want to talk about. Right? I'm angry about this. Right? So I need to get this far.
We have a genre of comedy back home, like we call it Angry Indians. It's another stereotype, but so far there's probably only like one Indian comic back home that's not angry. Harish. He's very like he looks, you think that he'll be another one of those ranty like angry comics, but no, he's like, he comes up very polite. He's like, hello, thanks. A very soft spoken kind of guy, and it works because that's him. You always go back to like what you are anyway, and that is Harish off stage and on stage. So and that's why it works so well, because even the type of jokes he tells are I would say taboo. He has a few jokes about. He has a joke about abortion. He has a joke about a few taboo subjects that he talks about, but he gets away with it or makes it funny
because he's very soft spoken. He's very
soft spoken, and he does it in his own way, and that's why it works.
But do you do taboo subjects? I don't remember.
I tried early on because the shock factor. We always wanted to go down that road. We want to go the Jeselnik route.
Hey, look at me,
and but after a while, it didn't felt like what I naturally wrote anyway. So I had one or two jokes about what did I have about taboo subjects. I can't remember them now, but I tried them, and it's just like I got the laughs, but just telling it itself wasn't. It felt out of place in the whole bit. In the whole set.
In the whole set.
Yeah. So suddenly I'll be goofing around with like, my silly brother, silly pet, suddenly talking about like contract killings. Like, what the hell? Okay, yeah. So I couldn't find a way to segue properly to the joke. So I said, okay, just write with a flow in mind. The whole set list should flow nicely. So I kind of slowly dropped those. And furthermore, I don't find the funny in like most taboo subjects anyway. So you just write what you know of.
Because I'm a comic that write. I write taboo subjects.
Okay.
I talk about death all the time, or dying people. Yeah, that's fine. That's my favorite kind of topic. Can you imagine like the romantic dig? Oh, look at this! The dead people.
Yeah. This lobster died for you. Make us fool. Did you realize that?
But I realized that thinking about having like taboo subjects, right? It's hard to make fun. It's but when you get a reference right, it's very satisfying.
Yeah. It's because it's nobody's heard it before, and the tension is there, and it's like a big balloon. If you know the right thing to say, just pop it and then boom, you get just an overflowing of laughter. And I don't know whether it's taboo or not, but that happened also recently when JD, the ukulele guy, in Malay, he was doing it at Crack House, and he thought it would be tough because he was doing his set in Crack House. Now has a 5-minute special Malay guest comic, so JD was on that week, and it has been English the whole time. Suddenly a Malay act comes in, so he everybody was a bit tense. Like, how's this gonna work? Are the expats in the audience gonna understand it? Everything, and he so calmly just eases the tension by going up and saying in Malay, not even trying in English. He's just like I'm translating it like right now. He says like, so okay, I'm gonna do my set in Malay, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all the white guys be patient with me, all right, for 5 minutes, because to be honest, we've been patient with you guys for hundreds of years. Boom! Everyone just look at the flow of laughter just erupted. Everything, the tension was gone, and then he just flew. Was just riding the wave for the next 5 minutes. So it's just the best thing ever. Yeah. So I think that might not be taboo, but I think taboo subjects works in the same way. If you know the right thing to say, and with it also goes down with intention. Because, I don't know if you know this, but right now there was a bit of trouble with one of the comics, Haikal, which also had trouble in Singapore. In Masala, like last year, because he did a few Jew jokes, and Umar didn't like that, so he's no longer welcome there.
Really? That's
what he says, lah. And he was bombing that night. And then, so back home, he told a joke about Kelantan, which is one of the northern states, a bit rural, a bit. Less progressive, one of the less progressive states, and the joke went that Kelantan is the state with the highest number of HIV infected people, so that's why the football team is so good, because they're good at passing it around. And Haikal does taboo jokes. That's I remember he does jokes about religion, race. Particularly Malay, because he's Malay, and so he tweeted that, and he's getting like followers, and then he was made a curator for an account called Tweet Malaysia, which has 40,000 followers. So when he started doing the Kelantan joke there, and then he got a massive backlash from the people there. Then people are coming up with things like you shouldn't make fun of the state, shouldn't make fun of like this, shouldn't make fun of that. And Haikal in his own ways just trolled everybody. It's a joke, doing all this stuff. And somebody even came up with with stats saying like, hey, Kelantan is no longer the state. I know, yeah. And a girl and another person also defended the state. By saying, and I'm not kidding, saying like, Kelantan has Kelantan has such a high percentage of HIV patients because it's bordering Thailand, which is also like that's where it comes from, Thailand. So I said, wait, that doesn't explain anything. It's still like basically you're saying like the Kelantanese people are going up north, getting infected, coming back down. So the problem is still there. What are you trying to say? You can't just blame it on Thailand.
No, the Thai people came in, right? They invaded just come in.
Yeah, right. So I think that's why, going back to why we choose the silliness rather than the seriousness, is because of the backlash we've been getting. Malaysia is so weird right now. The extreme right is they've always been there, but they're always just like under the bushes, like hey, we're here, don't try anything. But now they're out in the open. They got protests. Every little thing gets people writing police reporting to the police about small stuff. And recently the whole hot dog issue, you can use the word dog because dog is unclean in Islam. I said, oh my god, it's so weird. I think part of why we choose silly comedy over serious comedy is also the fact that we're a bit afraid of the backlash, and but there are people like Haikal that they kind of use the whole like want to power through. I want to educate these people, show that you can make jokes about this and all that, and hopefully find a balance in the future.
I think it's because I haven't seen Haikal do his set, but it feels like he's the sacrificial lamb to unite everyone. It's like,
and I really appreciate, in a way, there's some things that I don't agree with what he says about like being offended and all that, but what he's doing, it's kind of brave, kind of brave, and yeah, he's kind of paving the way. I would never I've known him. He's been in the scene now for 4 years. I've known him since he started. And if you ask me like who's the most important voice in comedy in Malaysia this year, I would never in a million years say Haikal, But he seems to be, yeah. And it's interesting seeing the backlash and trying to put out the fires and educating people about stand up and saying that in stand up there's nothing that can't be joked about. It's only bad if it doesn't work. It's a bad joke.
I think it's because like the way you put it out as well. What was the whole intention behind?
Yeah. Because in Twitter you can't really. It's written, right? You can see the performance. You don't know. The delivery of it is lost in the whole Twitter style. So people might see it not as a joke, as a statement rather than a joke. So maybe that's why they got offended in a way.
I think it's because you have to prove your account to be funny account, and
that's true. How he delivered himself. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I think that I know whenever you write a joke, it's the same in Singapore too. I mean, this is what I feel about Singapore, like radio people. Like there are times that when people on Facebook like radio DJs put a Facebook page photos like saying that, oh, if you get offended, get out of my place. I'm like, that there are jokes that you make is really offensive, right? There's a line that I don't cross. There's a line that I do topics about bestiality. I don't joke about like I don't joke. I make fun of bestiality, but I don't talk about people who are affected by bestiality. My whole intention of doing a joke is not meant to hurt.
Yes,
it should not meant to
intention.
hurt.
Definitely, yeah.
And the way you phrase those jokes as well. If you do not intend to hurt, your words will also shows that your intention is not there. You may not phrase it properly, but when the joke is out there, it's out there. It's the intention should be seen very clearly.
Yes.
And if that person is to get offended by that joke, when you know that the context of the joke and it phrased it properly, when it's being phrased properly, when people still get affected, that's their fault. That's not our fault anymore, right?
Yeah, they're taking offense rather than realizing what the joke is about. That's true. That's very, very true. Yeah, there's only so much we can do as comedians, and it's already like we're kind of fighting an uphill battle anyway. And to further like just handicap yourself more, it's gonna just affect the quality of the comedy that you can provide. So that's and also I don't know to be honest whether we should because people always say like, oh, you have the platform, you have the voice, so you should like take care of it, like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't abuse the platform. I don't know. I just want to make people laugh. Yeah, that's my whole intention. I always tell like as MC as well. Like recently, so when I MC, when it's my turn to host the show, me and another comic, Prakash Daniel, run One Mic Stand. So in the beginning I always tell the audience like, please, it's an open mic night. People are going to try new stuff. Might work, might not work, might die, and please don't get offended. There'll be a lot of swearing. There'll be topics, there's stuff you won't get you won't get to see in your 100 ringgit subscribe satellite TV. We only have 15 bucks show, so yeah, I always have to put that out immediately in the beginning because people do get. I think because they have the preconceived notion of what comedy is in their brain, so they expect that to be
should be some mindless, funny, silly, but
so maybe we should just a rebranding, call it stand up. So it's still comedy, but a different genre, where, because I had a few friends come to the show and they brought their friends, and after the show they said, oh, it's funny, a bit shocking, huh? You guys talk about political stuff. I think it wasn't even like tame stuff, really, really tame political stuff, but they were a bit like culture shocked a bit. And I was like, wow, okay, so there's still people out there that they're not used to the freedom that stand-up provides, the comics, and it's
I
always
think-
a learning thing.
I think also it's about how when we talk about taking care of the platform, I kind of agree with it towards like yes that you have a platform, right? You should be responsible of how you want to portray yourself as.
Yeah.
But however, you should also give a leeway of what we want to talk about. When you hear the word maybe black people, you shouldn't like putting your ear, plugging your ear. It's wrong. You shouldn't say. But you're talking about the problem that black people face.
Yes.
Yes, that's what you want to talk about. The problem with being a Chinese person.
Yes.
That's what you want. You can talk about the problem about facing as a person. You can talk about, but you say about look at those black people. They steal things. That's wrong. That's
You're focusing on the word itself.
Uh-huh.
We use words to because the in stand up you can't beat around the bush too much, but you have to get straight to it. And sometimes we use the word that will get to the point the faster. So rather than saying African Americans, maybe the impact isn't as strong as saying like black people problems. You get an emotional reaction faster than that, and which is what we want anyway. It's all jokes. It's both cerebral and emotional all together, and then you get a reaction, and then you laugh. So the words are very important. And if you ask us to censor words, it's just like you get a lower quality of comedy. It's so to the people that like you say, I'm not hearing this, I'm not hearing this. They're not gonna get any enjoyment from any stand-up show. Unfortunately, if they're not going in with an open mind. But the platform thing again, like, but I've seen acts that just don't mind and just go full on with words and whatnot, and it's a very fine line. I mean, it is 4 years. I still don't know what the line is. I'll probably never find the line. It's crazy.
And it's like we always talk about, like it's always the intention that you want to do it.
Yeah.
The words you choose will also represent an intention.
Yes.
And I think it's always the intention that you try to want to bring across, as saying, hey, you know, it's okay. I want to be an asshole on stage because there's something that I want you to know.
Then the audience should know that you're trying to be an asshole on stage rather than you are an asshole to them. I think it's I can never do that style of comedy because I'm too much of a like I need everybody to love me. I think that's my problem. I think we found it. Thank you, Dr. Phil. I think we found the root of my problem here, and I just need to let loose and just like scold the crowd a bit more.
Hey, you're a very lovely person on stage. So don't lose that. don't lose the Brian. I know.
But yeah, you know, me 4 years ago and me today, like totally different people. I did that deadpan one-liner style when I started because I was just uncomfortable on stage. I wasn't free enough or comfortable enough to do a story, do characters, do voices, the normal what you see in normal, quote unquote normal stand-up style. So I just did the one-liner style because that's for me the best way to deliver the jokes I had in my mind. But right now, after I would guess I got comfortable a year in. That's usually the time frame. Year in, you get a bit comfortable on stage. You know how it goes and everything, and then suddenly you start freeing up. You start moving on stage a bit more rather than the pace, that nervous pacing you do left right, and then you find that okay, now I'm a bit more free. So I can probably tell this joke now, which needed a bit more freedom to tell. So and 4 years in, it's getting to a point now where I wouldn't say I don't care, but I don't mind the joke not doing well if I'm trying something new. Yeah, it's come to that point now, and it's quite liberating. A very, very, very liberating experience. which I hope will only get better as I do this more. But I still don't know what kind of comic I am, honestly.
I think everyone is still trying to figure out.
Yes.
Everyone is still trying. This is what happens, right? When you try to write stuff, you try to figure out yourself. It's hard to figure out yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what the fuck, who am I?
Yep.
Who the fuck am I? Alright? Everyone said try to be yourself. How the fuck? What the fuck?
What now thinking about it, what the hell does that mean? What the hell? Like, people are having a hard time being themselves without, outside of telling jokes. That we have to do it by telling jokes. I don't like. There's no. What is that? Right? Yeah.
I think at one point I go, okay, so this is how. This one bit I want to do, like you when you try to go date. Try to go on a date, and people tell you to be yourself. Like, how the fuck do I be myself? This is how I walk.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And you're being very conscious about, like, when someone tell you how to walk, like you walk like this. Did I? And try to walk like normal.
Yeah. And then you become not yourself.
Yeah.
Which is ironic. And then,
but yeah, the whole idea of, like, being yourself is like, what the fuck? How? Who the fuck am I?
right, yeah.
Who am I as a person? Right?
Yeah. You just have like a personal crisis on stage. It's like, suddenly, who am I? What am I?
It's like, oh shit, am I going through a self-existential crisis right now? Am I? Can I do? And try to hold yourself together because you don't want your audience to cry with you.
Yep. There's only one person that's crying, that's me.
I don't mean. But where's the idea of, like, you try to find your own voice, you try to find your own idea of what is it like to be a comedian or even just to be a person on stage.
I think right now I'm at the end of the spectrum where I only just want to make the audience laugh. So I'm not trying to put a message out there. I'm not trying to educate my audience. I want to talk a bit about my life, but the jokes come first. So I want to get the audience first comfortable. I think it's the whole MC and the whole host part of me coming out. I need to ease the audience down and then make them laugh as like a good house guest. You get friends in, you want to be gracious, you want to be a good house guest, make sure they have a good time and everything. You want them to leave thinking, oh, that was pretty nice, I'll go back, I'll remember that guy, rather than storming out thinking, fuck this place, I'm gonna burn this down tomorrow. No. I've come to that point now. Maybe because of my age, I'm mid 30s now. So it's like,
which is surprising. Look, when I first see her, like, he's only 25, 26. All right, that's no way. There's no way that you can.
Well, thank you so much, my friend. I think that's a compliment, and maybe I get away with that. Maybe there's the whole going back to how I look on stage. Maybe people look at me as still in my 20s, but with the mind of a guy who's having midlife crisis. Maybe that's why the whole juxtaposition is like, I don't understand what's he going through.
You just look too young. Christ, how the fuck? I say, look, no, he's doing jokes about kopi peng. What the fuck?
Yeah, shouldn't he be talking about hipster cafes and stuff? No, because I grew up 80s, born 82, so like mid 80s. My childhood was basically the whole 90s, so that era before Facebook, before the internet. I still remember the time before the internet. That's how old I am, and I don't know if it really influenced my style of comedy, but it's there. I'm just trying to make use of what I have. Comes down to that.
I think it's the idea of, like, you got trying to make use of what you have in your tools, right?
Yeah.
And I think that most of us, what we realize that we are talking about acknowledges and flowers just now.
Okay.
Yeah. And you say that you acknowledge a lot. So I think that's one of our tools.
Yes.
Like trying to say, hey, you know what? That's
yeah. Because to be in the moment, I think is the most unique thing about stand-up comedy, because if you go to the other art forms, like theater, it's script. You want to follow the script. It's set. It's there. Yeah, it hardly breaks. There are some plays that break the fourth wall and acknowledge stuff and all that, but that's kind of rare. Music, it's the rhythm of the music. That's why music sometimes works as a background thing in bars and everything. Where stand-up, people have to focus on the stand-up. It cannot be a background thing. What are the dance is so physical. You can just get into the whole movement of the dance and everything. Where stand-up, you can acknowledge what's in front of you, or what's at the way back at the room, or even outside the venue. Just an ambulance passes by as you're building up to that funny joke, and then you can acknowledge that. You can burn that joke and make a new joke about the ambulance, saying that, okay, I guess it's heading towards where my punchline was going. it's shit like that, and that's what makes stand up. So I'm sure you've heard it. Somebody said that each set you do, each time you go up on stage, it's a different set. Even though you have the same jokes, it's a different set. Every time you go up, and it's so cool seeing like back home at the Crack House. They have international acts every Friday and Saturdays, so I would purposely go on both nights to see how the act handles like different crowds or different whatever happens, and I've learned so much, and I've seen like veteran acts, like really experienced comics, that when he or she needs to up the tempo, they'll go faster, and do some stuff. If he needs to break the ice or something, he'll go into the crowd, talk, do a bit of crowd interaction. Or there's some acts that just they're so confident in their joke that they don't even change it. They just I wouldn't say power through, but they have so much faith in their material, because we all have that joke where it's worked there and there and there. Why shouldn't it work here? So we just let's let our belief in it and just go through and hopefully they get it. More often than not, it doesn't work. But so yeah, that no two comedians are ever the same, even though they do like same style.
I think it's also the different kinds of comedians you see. Stand up is so different, right? You have Chris Rock, super high energy, da 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 da. You repeat his premise over and over and over again just to make sure the point goes through.
Yeah.
And you have Dave Chappelle that talk like this, and I don't know. I like they're talking about black people stuff. Like they talk about being a perspective of a black guy.
Yes.
But I prefer Dave Chappelle, right? Because it's slow. He's a storyteller. He's a slow guy. You can follow him. But with Chris Rock, his points is going through across and across and across. And it feels like the energy level for Chris Rock, you have to up his game all the time. So it's like
he kind of that's him.
Yeah.
So that he got famous from that, and his shows are always like a concert anyway. You got the DJ playing, and then you got the hype man going, "Hey, come on guys, let's get this going," and then he goes on stage hot. He makes sure that the stage is hot. He just goes up there and like, yeah. Brooklyn in the house, things like that. Whereas Chappelle, he's smooth, so smooth. He walks into a room, and then he just within like a sentence or two, got it already. So smart, and it's not saying, and I'm not saying like Chappelle's smarter than Chris Rock. Chris Rock has like super smart jokes as well. It's style. It's all just comes down to style and preference. So like you say, you enjoy. I would give the edge to Chappelle a bit more, because I know more of his bits are stuck into my head than Chris Rock. So I also prefer Chappelle. But I see how Chris Rock has the influence and why people would like Chris Rock. Yeah,
I think it's because of Chris Rock.
When? Oh, cool.
I watch Chris Rock and we watch Chappelle. It's also the vibe they give, right? I think it's because I'm a lazy person. I'm just fucking lazy. I was like, like this is one time where I watch a very high energy act.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys go ahead. I'll catch up somehow. Like running a marathon. And someone and you know that there's a guy in front of me, like way fast. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna catch up with you. Like I'm gonna slowly jog.
Yeah.
And one Chappelle is like those kind of like, yeah, I'll jog with you. You want to walk? Alright, I'll like walk with you. The kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
Right? Chappelle is like the guy that they want to walk with and have a chat with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Chris, what you have to be on that roller coaster, right? Immediately, it's like, okay, let's do this. And if you're ready for that, it's an amazing show. The Chris Rock show will be amazing. But I think the opposite can happen as well. Some people might not enjoy Chappelle's material because they might feel like it's like, when is this guy gonna? Is this it? Is he gonna? Can you just?
Can you talk a bit faster?
Yeah.
Come on!
Yeah. Come on, let's do this. I want to. Yeah.
Like an ADHD kid.
Yes. So, yeah, I think we'll never find like the ultimate style or the everybody has tried like we were talking earlier, like top 5 comics. It always changes.
Yeah.
It comes down to age as well. If I was in my mid-20s, I'll probably pick who are like the hot shots, like Chris D'Elia, or who like high energy acts. I can only think of Chris right now.
Very high energy act.
Or physical as well. Or the young generation. So, but not now in my 30s, I would go with just people much more cool and talking about the good old days. Those acts. I'll talk about the good old days because I can associate with them a bit now. Yeah, can remember. Yeah.
But she's just kind of like, I don't know. I always talk about like saying that I like the old, bitter, slow, Jewish white guy. It's always that old, bitter. It's like he's like Louis Black. But if it's not Jewish, it's white, so it's Doug Stanhope. So you have like Christopher Taylor is middle. You have Maron. Mark Maron just sit down.
Yeah, he sits. That's another thing as well. You think that because if you sit, because it's called stand up for a reason, right? You stand up, you want the spotlight, yeah. But Mark Maron is so confident in his style. He just will just sit on a stool and just like, hey you guys doing? Yeah.
And I think that it's a different dynamic as well. So I think Mark Maron has a dynamic that okay, this is what I remember. Michelle Alexandra or Michelle Brewer.
Oh, the Canadian?
The Malay, the poet in the Malaysian scene.
Michelle Barber.
Michelle Barber.
Yes.
What was that asking me? I was like, it's just 5 minutes. Why don't you just stand up and do it? Is it that tiring? And I'm thinking, it's a different dynamic. And as a stand up, you have to acknowledge things.
Yes.
And what's the best way to acknowledge a stool on stage?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
One way is to sit down and just tell jokes. And for me, I'm not a jokey joke person.
Okay.
I think I've watched my act before, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a jokey joke person. I'm a person that goes, okay, look, this is what I went through. Right, and sometimes I may burst into anger because that's what my joke required to, or at least that's my persona. That I'm trying to figure out things in my head sometimes.
Yep.
So and that's how. And I was ringing after Michelle started saying, hey, is it that tiring to do your comedy on stage? Why not sitting down? Like, do you really have to sit down? Yeah, but that's a dynamic of comedy, right? That's a.
We'll find our own ways to deliver, like you say, like our style of comedy. So if you feel that sitting down is the way, do it. Yeah, I don't see any problem with. I remember an act that instead of using the stool on stage, brought the chair he was sitting on. In Crack House, he just put it on stage over his shoulder, bam, and just sat down, which is a different dynamic rather than saying that I'm being relaxing. He's doing the whole like I'm the boss here, so he brings a different dynamic as well, which won't get the same response, I think, so. It's do what you think is the best. I'm the worst at giving advice anyway.
Which comic give the best advice? I really do want to know. I'm like, so this is my ad. Can you just read it through and hopefully,
But I'm still very 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 appreciative of people that tell me things, recently. Like Kavin's my mentor, down truly my mentor, because doing one mic stand when he was still running it, he always like take me aside and tell me how I can improve and all that, which was what I really needed, starting lah. And he's always like a very father figure, giving me sage advice, which if I didn't take, I'll probably be more successful. No, I'm kidding.
But do you pick the advice that you choose?
I'll think about it, and sometimes sometimes the advice just won't match what you want to do, and because you can't be both audience and performer at the same time, because you want to see your act through an audience's eyes anyway. So you have to get somebody else's opinion on your act, and we all have this ego thing that's saying, the best way to do this, my joke is this way, but sometimes we're so blinded by our own ego that we can't think outside the box. And whether I pick my advice, I do. I'm a normal human being. Sometimes I just like, why is he telling me this? I really know. It's wrong.
I remember watching, like, I remember Sam complaining to me like, I don't listen to advice. I'm like, but it's my bit. How would you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You think like we rotate, we sit it on stage, and I've mellowed down a bit. I was so very staunchly anti-advice for a while, but then when I realized that, wait a minute, it's I am doing it for the audience. So the audience sees something that I don't. I should be willing to at least listen. Most of the time, the advice is like, they don't understand where I'm going with the joke. That's why they say, why don't you do this? And I'm always appreciate. I'll say, thanks for telling me that and all that, and then just like, okay, he or she didn't get the joke, that's why he's telling me to do that. But that means that my joke wasn't clear enough. So I'll have to analyze the advice.
For me, is when someone give me an advice. However, if because there are jokes that goes like this direction, like goes to a direction, but when they give me an advice when it goes like a different direction altogether, like I can't do this. That's not my intention of doing that bit. And like if I were to do like a bit, it has to bring a certain intent, like that. If
what you're trying to tell with that joke, right?
Because if you have jokes like saying that, like I said, that it brings back down the intention, right? Like if there's a bit about like the idea of hitting a woman is bad, and my joke may end off with it's the same when you hit a man too, it's bad as well. But you came in, but when someone gave me an advice as saying, hitting a woman is bad, but when you hit a man it's okay. So when you hit a woman is bad, but when you hit a Chinese man it's different, right? So or things like that, right? When the whole direction change, I'm like, it shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my whole joke is talking about like when you're trying to hit a person, it's wrong to hit a person.
Yes.
But then you bring me a direction and saying that hit a certain type of person is okay. It's not alright. But the rest is okay. So when the intention is wrong, when the intention is different, I'll go, you know what, that's not right. You can't tell me to do that joke because it's funnier.
I know. Yeah, that's then it just comes down to what you think about your opinions about the subject. Like, it's not necessarily a different opinion doesn't make the joke funnier. Yeah, and you're telling your opinion anyway, right? You're not really trying to challenge other people's opinion. You're just saying this is what I think. Yeah, and then trying to make it funny. So when somebody else comes up with another opinion, and it just clashes, like it's not what you're trying to say anyway. And again, I would say like that means that the audience just either they're too numbskull to want to take what you're trying to say, or they don't get what you're trying to say. It's like you failed, the comic has failed to break down their preconceived notions on the subject. And it takes a skillful comedian to do that, I think. Yeah, because everybody has their opinions, and they're so protective of their opinions that a 1 hour show won't if it makes them laugh, it's okay, yeah, but it won't change ideas anytime soon. Yeah,
I think it's about intentions. It all boils down to me, you can do any jokes, right? If you get offended by a certain word, go fuck yourself. but you have jokes like with a certain intention behind it.
Yeah.
And you put it forward like saying that, oh, that joke has an intention. It's and meant to hurt people, which is not right. And and if you do like certain jokes that hurt people, I think this is just, I don't know, when people say is when you get offended, it's because you're PC. No, when you get when sometimes people get offended, like that. I'm not sure you know, but recently it's only 2 or 3 days ago, where they have like a black face.
I heard about it. I'm not sure what the whole.
So there's an episode in the only TV corporation in Singapore.
Okay.
All right. And I cannot name because I don't want to get sued.
Okay.
But they have this web series, and one of them goes, hey, we need an African extra, right?
Okay.
But an African extra we can't find an African extra. All right. I didn't read like there's a specific country of African extra. So they're bringing they thought of like bringing an Indian person.
Okay.
So that's one layer of racism in there, I think. and they try bringing blackface, right? And they try. I think they cannot find. They try to find a Chinese guy and put in like a blackface going on. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And I read an article just saying that, you know what, I can. If it's comedy, I should laugh. Right, and I'm thinking that's arrogant that's arrogant for someone who is one. But consider the idea of blackface. That I'm not sure. Even if you're not comedy savvy enough, you should know that, hey, that idea is wrong. That blackface is wrong, right? There's so much intense, like so much level of wrongness inside that we all know. And even if you're not comedy savvy now, you know that's wrong, right?
Yes. But okay, we talk about intentions. So what was the episode trying to say? Was there anything?
I didn't watch the whole. I didn't watch this episode.
Okay, if they're trying to make fun of blackface, I also don't. It just sounds like I don't get why use blackface in that episode.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So maybe that's the thing, because interestingly enough, Malaysia also had its own blackface controversy. It was one of those TMZ type shows on our satellite channel, and our popular local singer Yuna had a hit single with Usher, so called Crush. So they mentioned that, and then they cut to a sketch, kind of a sketch, and there was a comedy duo, both males. So one guy cross-dressed as Yuna, and the other guy played Usher, but using blackface. And it got a backlash and everything, and the argument, the defense was they didn't know the whole how bad it was, blackface, and the other argument was it was supposed to be a parody, it was supposed to be a joke, so don't get offended by the blackface. So this is very interesting for me, because initially I was a bit like, what the fuck, why you should never do blackface, because of how offensive it is, first of all. But what they say has an element of truth, because sometimes we communists do that also. We say it's a joke, don't get offended. So now the tables are turned. The big media corporation does it, and I feel, because they are trying to, but they're not making fun of blackface. They're trying to use blackface to say to represent an actual black person, which is wrong lah. Yeah, that one we can all agree with. I just like I saw the whole drama online, and I can see both sides, but it all comes down to education, to what we know and everything, and
I think that being like, I think the idea of blackface is wrong. If you're doing an episode like saying that blackface, you're doing blackface so that you can see how stupid blackface is, you need the blackface in there. However, if you're doing a blackface because just to get a laugh, it's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there are many, like bringing back to Malaysia, where there are many ways to depict Usher.
Yes.
Why do you need to do a blackface to depict Usher?
There you go.
There you go. Right. The idea of what is it? Sometimes yes, blackface is funny. Yellowface is funny. However, it's offensive as well. It's wrong too.
Yes.
It's wrong because the element of trying to be different by depicting because of their racial color, to me it crosses the line of being like you have to be like I said, you have to be responsible to a certain degree of what you make fun on stage.
Yes.
What's the whole intention of your joke as well?
Yes.
So if you bring in like, if you do a rape joke making fun of the rape victim, it's wrong. But if you make a joke about how bad rape is, I think you can do that. Or the idea of or you make rape jokes about the idea of maybe like how fucked up rape is. That's correct. But if you do a rape joke about making fun of the rape victim herself or the rape itself, try to trivialize it is wrong. But trivialize the idea of the rape, how fucked up. Maybe you should not trivialize how fucked up the rape is, but you're doing the idea of how fucked up rape it really is, and why it should not happen.
Yes.
That's the whole intention, right?
Yes.
So I think blackface is the same thing, where you get on. It's wrong to do a blackface. It's wrong. But if you take the tables and turn to the idea of like, if you do a blackface, it's wrong. But if you turn the tables and saying that, if I'm doing a blackface, and how stupid it really is, or how bad it really is, and you make fun of that person who do a blackface and think that it's going to be okay. So I think that's the intention coming in. Where what's your intention really is? Is it that person just to do a blackface so that you can get a laugh, or that person just to do like a make fun of the idea of blackfacing?
Yes. Again, intentions, and totally, and sometimes, and it takes a lot of skill to talk about taboo subjects anyway. Yeah, I don't think any inexperienced comic can get away with without talking about taboo subjects without the experience of telling jokes. of knowing how to tell the joke. Yeah. Everybody starts there. Everybody starts. Yeah.
But I think everyone wants to be edgy, like right from the start.
That's the thing. Yeah. Early on, everybody wants to start, being edgy, and I don't know why. Is it cool?
I think it's because you see everyone on stage doing an edgy stuff.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look at me! I'm an edgy comic as well. I love Louis C.K. But and it talks about fucking a dead kid on the field, unconscious kid on the field.
Yep.
Why can't I do it? Right? I see Billboard talking about trashing woman. Well, I can do it, right?
Yep.
I'm looking at Dave Chappelle talking about black people not be able to be a victim of a terrorism. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the idea of like, yeah, look at me, I can be as cool as those comics are?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's weird, lah. Yeah. I just want to hear good comedy. That's all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's a taboo subject, mainstream subject. As long as it's funny, it's funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind.
Because I'm thinking about the idea of like our idea of comedy. It's a very like a
It's
weird
different
thing.
it's different for everybody as well. So, I don't know what the end game is though. You know, I for now, like I say, it's just I just want to make people laugh, and how I do it is it depends on how best I can do it. I guess.
I think this is what we all want to be, right?
Yes.
Just to make some people relate. Look, let's high five.
Validations on stage. Yeah, I know. Yeah. My parents didn't validate me enough, so I need to get it from you guys.
You're the only people that maybe love me. Please, just that 5 minutes, just love me a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a classic dilemma. Yeah.
That's what we all do. And I think that's a good note to end.
Oh yes. So listeners, yes.
Yeah, so-
that's why we do comedy.
Just a little bit of laughter. Can you just give me a little bit? Just one small bit.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna end this. Alright, thank you very much. Thank
Hey,
you for
no,
doing this.
thanks for having me on board. It's very enlightening talk.
I know it's supposed to be funny, but I just gave that out.
Yeah, I know. No, talking about comedy, it's always the opposite, right? Talking about comedy, it always ends up semi-serious, and
Because we're very passionate for our subjects, right?
that's the thing. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, can you imagine like two corporate people from working in a bank? Hey, do you know what's funny? So this is how funny works. We are just too passionate about our stuff to talk about what's funny and what isn't.
Yeah.
Alright, again, thank you very much.
Thank
you
you
for
so
doing
much.
this. Okay.